Xenophanes' critique of anthropomorphic deities unsettles ancient Greek myth and also reshapes philosophical inquiry. Today's topic is the ancient Greek philosopher Xenophanes, one of the four renowned Eleatic thinkers. He is celebrated as a revolutionary critic of traditional views on divinity. Welcome to Philosophy, Science, and Beyond, a place where curiosity meets knowledge. Negative theological ideas of Xenophanes that challenged established mythological views is unique at his time. In Greek art, gods were portrayed in human form, a practice known as anthropomorphism. Xenophanes questioned this approach by urging us to rethink divine representation. Let's recall the myth of Zeus, Hera, and Io. Io, a temple priestess, becomes entangled in the passions and deceptions of the gods. In the myth, Zeus falls for Io, but when Hera learns of it, she confronts him with jealousy, while Zeus denies any wrongdoing. To save Io, Zeus transforms her into a heifer. This act of metamorphosis sets off a chain of events that underscores divine intervention and human vulnerability. Despite Zeus's efforts, Hera remains distrustful. She insists on her gift, a cow entrusted to the vigilant Argus, to ensure her control over the situation. Argus, the perfect watchman with his many eyes, is eventually overcome by Hermes, who uses cunning, songs, and stories to lull him into sleep before freeing Io. Not long after, Hera immortalizes Argus's fate by placing his eyes on a peacock's tail, forever reminding us of the intertwining of beauty and tragedy. Furious still, Hera sends a horsefly to chase Io relentlessly. The pursuit symbolizes the inescapable grip of fate and divine retribution. As Io journeys across the world in her heifer form, she crosses the Thracian Strait, a passage that ancient myths say gave the Bosphorus its name, derived from words meaning cow and passage. Similarly, the term para in Istanbul finds its roots in the same concept of borders and passages, symbolizing separation and transition without religious overtones. In ancient Greece, the gods were seen as possessing very human lives, full of passion, flaws, and even scandal, much like the drama of a modern soap opera. Xenophanes famously declared, "Men create gods in their own image." He argued that if animals could create art, they would depict gods in their own likeness, emphasizing human bias. This observation highlights that the image of the divine reflects our own nature, our voices, our appearances, and our cultural ideals. Xenophanes challenges us to question why ancient people saw their gods as human. He suggests that imagination and cultural experience play crucial roles in shaping our ideas of divinity. Primitive societies often revered natural elements like the sun, moon, and fire as divine. Some even saw animals as living deities, reflecting the raw nature of their world. Our understanding of gods is rooted in our everyday experiences. We shape our ideas of divinity based on what we see, feel, and know from the world around us. In the 17th and 18th centuries, scientists and philosophers like Immanuel Kant explored imagination as a faculty of the mind, questioning how we perceive and conceptualize the divine. Kant argued that we always perceive the world through forms like time and space, frameworks that exist in our minds before any experience. These mental frameworks shape all our experiences. They allow us to create meaning and order from the raw data of the world, including our ideas of the divine. Understanding this process can help explain why we naturally imagine gods in our own image. Our perceptions are limited and influenced by our experiences. The creative process in art follows a similar logic. Artists draw from their personal experiences to produce abstract forms that still reflect tangible reality. Returning to Xenophanes, we see that ancient Greeks formed their images of gods solely from human experience. They had no alternative way to imagine the divine. This leads us into a broader discussion on the source of all knowledge. Experience supplies raw data, while reason transforms it into understanding. Philosophers such as Husserl and Sartre further explored this unity of body and mind, emphasizing that true knowledge arises from their collaboration. Knowledge, they argued, is a product of both the physical senses and the inner workings of the mind, a dynamic, inseparable process. However, no single explanation can capture the full mystery of how we understand the world. Even the greatest theories only hint at the complexity of perception and knowledge. Let us then think together about what it means to experience something unknown. If something is never presented to us, can it truly exist in our minds? Our imagination is free to combine what we have seen in unexpected ways, even to imagine the impossible, like a flying pink elephant. Kant's concept of free play in judgment reminds us that our minds can recombine impressions in novel ways, even if these recombinations are limited by our experience. Art, like philosophy, draws upon our collective experiences. Great painters and sculptors have long created works that resonate with our inner lives. Xenophanes' critique forces us to confront the idea that man, not a transcendent force, is behind the construction of divine images. In his positive doctrine, Xenophanes proposes one supreme God who is utterly unlike humans, an all-seeing, all-thinking, and all-hearing unity. Aristotle later acknowledged Xenophanes' idea of the unity of being, emphasizing the connection between the universe and the divine. This unity challenges us to reconsider how we see our world. It is not merely a collection of parts, but a single, interwoven whole. Nietzsche later built on these ideas. He critiqued the traditional concept of God and famously proclaimed, "God is dead," marking a profound shift in cultural thought. Nietzsche argued that modern morality is no longer rooted in divine oversight, but in human interests and power dynamics. He compared divine surveillance with modern forms of control. Once it was God watching, now it is the state or authority observing us all. This transformation reflects a profound social change, the decline of traditional morality, and the rise of individual autonomy and state power. As a conclusion, Xenophanes' critique of anthropomorphic deities not only unsettles ancient Greek myth, but also reshapes philosophical inquiry. He argued that humans project their own image onto divinity, a notion echoed in Kant's emphasis on a priori structures and in Nietzsche's redefinition of morality, where the demise of a traditional god heralds rising human subjectivity. In contrast to later thinkers who invoked transcendent morality or immutable ideals, Xenophanes maintained that our ideas of the divine are products of sensory experience and cultural context. This perspective diverges from Plato's idealism and the metaphysical constructs of subsequent theological doctrines, highlighting the inherent subjectivity of human cognition. Comparing these views reveals that while some sought to transcend human limitations through immutable truths, Xenophanes consistently underscored the fallibility of our perceptions. His insights prefigure modern critiques of myth and provide a framework for understanding how historical, empirical, and imaginative forces converge to shape our concept of divinity. Furthermore, examining figures such as Husserl and Sartre alongside Xenophanes deepens the discussion on the tension between lived experience and abstract reasoning. Ultimately, his legacy challenges us to embrace both our cognitive limits and creative potential in constructing meaning. In closing, I invite you to reflect on how our ideas of mind, morality, art, politics, and everything are shaped by our experiences and imagination. Let this discussion open new horizons of thought.